Hello, this is Patrick again. Today I want to talk about how artificial intelligence can help your business. You've probably heard about AI, you've probably heard about tools like ChatGPT and maybe some of the others like Gemini and Claude. But you might be thinking, well, how can I use this? I can log on to these websites and I can play and I can ask it questions, these little tools, and it comes back with funny answers. But how can I actually use this to help me with my real world business? Well, the good news, it can and it is. And if you're not using these AI tools to help your business, you're missing out on a huge opportunity to reduce your costs, improve sales, to improve every aspect of your business. And if you're not doing it, your competitors are, so you need to start. Otherwise, you are in danger of going out of business. So today's presentation is just to give you a flavor of what's out there. We're going to give one very simple, practical example of what can be done. Okay, so let's dive into a quick presentation and then we'll go through a real world example. So, how can AI help business? Let's take a look. Oops, went too far. So, how do you harness these large language models? So, what is a large language model to start with? Okay, so as a business person, you probably don't really care what a large language model. You've probably heard the expression, right? But at a very high level, it's an AI model that has been trained on trillions of pictures and words and videos out there across the internet. And it understands prompts that you give it, English language prompts or other languages as well. And based on those prompts, it'll analyze your question. And by looking at the training data it has accumulated, it'll find answers for you in the context of your prompt. And when you're prompting these tools, you can ask it to set the tone. You can ask it to act like a particular expert. So, for example, if you were looking to ask a question about some kind of marketing problem or strategy you had, one of the things you would tell the tool is act like a marketing expert, act like the world's greatest expert in marketing. You can even feed information into these tools by adding documents and things. So if you had particular strategies in mind and you wanted to teach the tool the basics of marketing, if it didn't already know from scanning the internet, you can actually upload, manuals about marketing. It can upload internal documents from your company to understand how your company works. And then you can define your prompt. So your prompt would say something like, act as the world's best marketing expert. Your tone should be formal. Try to make use of real world examples, etc., etc. And the question could be, based on this marketing strategy I've given you, please provide constructive criticism and come up with other ideas based on what I do. And you feed that document of your marketing strategy into the LLM, and it will come out with an answer. This is just one example. So the power of these tools, there's several things that it can help with. First, the marketing and targeting and sales side. It can help you target your customers more effectively than perhaps you've been doing before, particularly in the online world. Okay, so it can analyze your website, you can feed it in your customers, and it'll analyze and come up with strategies that will help you. Okay. Secondly, it can help reduce costs by looking at your processes, by automating tasks, particularly those highly repetitive tasks that go on in your business, like invoice processing, for example. These type of tasks are very easily analyzed by AI and automation and allow you to rapidly speed up the operational efficiency of those kinds of processes. Okay. So it can look at your business operations. These AI tools can integrate with third-party products. And there are software tools that companies have developed that make use of the AI, make use of automation, make use of connections to these third-party tools. A very simple example would be Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. And it allows you to move data from one area to another. One of the big problems with businesses is the fact that over time data is collated on different systems, and it's hard to communicate, to move data from one to the other because different systems don't talk to each other, etc. So one of the big, there's been a big push over many years for companies to put all their data onto one large system. SAP would be a great example. I mean, it's been a massively successful company because it's developed a platform that can run and operate every part of your business. But a lot of companies can't afford SAP, particularly if you're a small business, small or medium-sized business. So you can now use these tools, these AI tools that are available to connect things together, okay, and to give you operational efficiency. That reduces costs, increases profits, and it's good for everybody, okay. So we talked a little bit about what these large language models are, and they're made from companies like OpenAI, you might have heard of, with their ChatGPT. There's a company called Anthropic that has a platform called Claude. Google has Gemini. Facebook has Llama. And X, formerly Twitter, has Grok. Okay, and there are others, but these are the major ones probably in the market now. You might have heard there's a one that's come out recently from China called DeepSeek. Okay, so there are always new ones coming, and the existing ones are being improved all the time. And as a small business owner, you don't really care about that. You just want to use, if there's a tool out there that can help you, then that's what we need to focus on. But I wanted to give you a context about what's out there. So as I said, why should you care? Well, if these tools can help you reduce operational costs, improve customer service, boost your sales, automate repetitive processes, and can analyze your strategies and come up with ideas, you're going to have a competitive edge over your competition, okay? And please don't doubt that your competitors are looking at this, okay? Most of them will be looking at this and trying to figure out how they can use these tools to do better. All right, so you need to be doing it as well. And today we're going to look at one very basic example, but in the coming months, we're going to be showing many tools that are available out there in the market that will allow you to solve real world problems in your business. And it's only going to get better. The most recent versions of these tools are going to be extremely powerful and will help you solve real world problems, not just for your business, but society as well. Okay, and we need to embrace that. So practically, for example, let's take some examples. Marketing, for example. One of the big challenges in marketing, particularly in the online world, is creating content. Okay. And marketing teams are big. They need copywriters, they need SEO specialists, they need technical people to implement, they need the tools to connect to social media, to write, to connect and build and develop websites. There's so many factors to consider, everything from the marketing strategy all the way to implementing your marketing strategy through online, through generating content, etc. That process takes time. Using AI can dramatically reduce the time it takes to promote, to create that content. But there are caveats. The AI is not perfect. So anything created by AI, you need to have humans checking it and approving it. So it speeds up the process. But at the moment, you still need humans to make sure that the content meets with your branding, okay, and that it's not saying anything outside of what your message should be, okay. Now, over time, these tools are getting better, and compared to 3 years ago when these tools first came out, this concept of these tools are making mistakes, what they call hallucinating, has been reduced a lot and will continue to reduce as the tools get more sophisticated and more accurate. So it's important that you use these tools to do that. The tools not only can create the content, but for example, it can analyze your SEO strategy. What I mean by that is how you are promoting yourself online with search engines like Google. It can make recommendations, okay? There are tools available now that can create the content, create social media posts, the blog posts automatically, analyze what were the best hashtags and whatever Google keywords, for example, and publish those articles and social media posts all completely automatically with human checking as well. And that allows you to be consistent, to reduce the time to produce that marketing content, and the AI can make it consistent and reliable. But you still, as I said, you still need human oversight, okay? Because these AI tools are not perfect, but they are dramatically improving operational efficiency. And then you have, in your general work, whatever, you might be a manufacturer, you might be an online e-commerce store, etc. All of those processes are ripe for optimization. And AI, either on its own through tools like ChatGPT or in applications that have been built that make use of AI to help improve those applications in the specific, that are solving specific problems. So, for example, if you're a manufacturer, there are tools, as you know, that help you optimize your production processes. And embedding AI in those tools can dramatically improve that optimization. So the tools are available for you to play with, but there are also companies that are leveraging AI to make their specific industry tools better for you, which you can purchase and use. Here's a list of the tools that you can actually access for free right now. Most of them are pretty easy to use, and you can start playing. So, for example, you have ChatGPT. This is the one that kicked it off, made by OpenAI, based out of the United States. You can go to ChatGPT.com and for free, you can start playing. I definitely recommend getting a paid subscription. It's not expensive. I think the first layer is something like $20 a month or something like that. So it's not hugely expensive. And just play with it. Ask it to look at your website. Ask it to explain to it what you're trying to do and start understanding the results and how you can apply them in your business. The art of prompting, creating the questions to ask these tools, is a science and art in itself. And there are a lot of resources, and we're going to go into that in future videos. The best types of prompts, or how's the best way to use these tools, okay? Because you can create very simple prompts, but you can create prompts that are pages and pages if you're looking to solve a really specific problem, okay? So, ChatGPT was the first one. Claude, from a company called Anthropic, that's another very good example of a tool. Once again, you can go to Claude, you can Google it on Google, search it on Google, and you'll come up and you can ask the same kinds of prompts. And almost all these tools have a free tier, so you can just play with them. The next one is Gemini. Gemini is integrated completely into Google. Okay, so once again, you can go to the Gemini platform, you can ask questions, and it's integrated very nicely with the Google platform and the other applications you have on Google, like Sheets and your email and all these other kind of things, okay? The next one is Llama. This is from Facebook. It's a bit more technical, but very powerful. And of course, Facebook is using its own tools and its own um, platform as well. Then you have Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft Copilot is based on ChatGPT. They license ChatGPT and they've embedded Copilot into all the products. So if you're a Microsoft Office user, you'll see the Copilot icon. You've probably had a play of it, but the underlying engine behind that is ChatGPT with some Microsoft customizations. And just for simple office productivity, you can now use it in Microsoft PowerPoint to help you create presentations. You can use it in Word to help you create documents. You can use it in Excel to analyze data, etc., etc. You can use it in your Outlook to help manage your email. And there are these tools have then been used and applied by different vendors to help you manage these specific things as well. And then you have Grok, the newcomer from Elon Musk's X, what was formerly called Twitter. It's extremely powerful. It's a little bit newer than the others, a little bit rawer. If that's such an expression. And you need to get a Twitter account, an X account, and you can start playing with them. Altogether, there's a free tier. All of these platforms generally have their own apps, so you can play with them on your mobile. They have voice interaction, so you can have conversations with them, and people even are using these tools to ask and question things about their life. They're almost acting as therapists. You have to be careful, though, okay? These tools are not human. Sometimes they don't express the empathy that you might be expecting. So whilst you can use it to search for things and help you find answers, please don't rely on these tools 100%. They are getting more powerful. Another great example is in the health industry. Okay, so these tools are helping doctors diagnose much more quickly and much more consistently better. Okay, so for example, these tools can look at X-rays, can look at MRI scans, etc., and they can identify potential problems quicker than a human doctor can. Okay, but of course you still need the human doctor to make checks to make sure everything's fine, and also to move forward with what's required next. But these tools are getting better and better. So these are the major platforms. If you're trying for the very first time, you've never touched any of this before, I would recommend starting with ChatGPT. It's the most well established and probably at this stage the easiest to use. But please also play with Gemini if you're a big Google user. Play with Grok, it's extremely powerful as well, and Claude as well. So I should also say that all of these tools it's not just about text, they can create images now. And people have embedded these tools into video creation software. All right, and you can use these tools to create videos, animated videos. You can take a static picture and create an animated video. It's quite stunning how it uses these tools. So, let's just talk about some real-world case studies, all right? So, e-commerce, okay, obviously trillions of dollars is made every year from e-commerce platforms. AI can be used to optimize the process. You'll see this with Amazon. Amazon has its own AI engine, and it's embedded inside Amazon, so it helps you make decisions. It predicts what kind of things that you might want to buy in the future. It helps in the order processing. It helps to make a very smooth operation. Okay. As a consultant, my day job as a consultant, I use AI to help with proposals. Okay, so when I'm creating a proposal and I need to do research, I can use AI to check data. I can use AI to create the structure of a proposal and to fill in the majority of the content. Of course, I do add my human elements to it, and of course, I do need to check every single thing that it's created. Because as I said, it has this concept of hallucination, where sometimes it's making mistakes, it's exaggerating points or ignoring things, and you have to be careful. So you always need human oversight. And then, as I mentioned before, different marketing agencies. And for me, I use Claude, Gemini, and ChatGPT and Grok now for content creation for clients. Okay, once again with human oversight, but it just dramatically increases the productivity. Okay, so I can create high quality posts and social media posts. I have to check them, but it's probably improved my productivity by 70% realistically, if I think about it. So that has a dramatic effect on helping people and reducing costs, operational, and helping your business. So, just to summarize all of that, increase sales through AI-driven engagement. So when somebody comes to your website, they can access what they call an AI chatbot. And the chatbot will say, how can I help you today? Okay, and you might say, oh, I'm interested in this product. So the chatbot will then say, oh, great, okay, so give me your name, give me your email address, your telephone number. Right now, you're interested in this product. We have such and such a solution. These are the products. This is how to, et cetera, et cetera. And at the end of the conversation, you can put a buy button in there to buy the product, or do you want to speak to somebody? Do you want to book a meeting? Right? And you can click on the thing, and the AI chatbot will integrate with the booking meeting platform. It could be Microsoft Office or Google, whatever it is, and you'll be able to book a meeting with somebody, with a salesperson of that company. Okay. Another example, right? Let's say you book that meeting and it's a Zoom call or Google Meet or whatever it is, and with a Teams call. During that meeting, everything that's spoken can be transcribed by an AI tool built into the platform like Zoom or Google Meet or whatever, and you can then receive a transcription of that meeting. Okay. How much effort has it been in the past to write manual notes, right, when you're in a meeting? You don't need to do that anymore. And the tools are now intelligent enough. Like I use a tool, which I'll talk about in a future video, where every time I have a meeting and there's a list of tasks that is the output of that meeting, the tool will grab those tasks and actually create tasks in a task scheduler for me. Okay, so now I'll know from that meeting the tasks that I've either assigned to myself or somebody has assigned to me, and it's scheduled in my scheduling platform, my task management platform. All of that is completely automated. That's how good these solutions are getting now. Okay. And for personal productivity, which we haven't talked about now, that is a huge benefit. It saves me at least an hour a day. There are tools available now that can scan your email inbox and create draft responses to any email based on your tone by analyzing all the emails you've responded to in the past. So imagine, how often do we spend every day responding to emails? Or depending on your job, it could be all day, or it could be an hour. If you could chop off an hour of your day by a tool that's analyzing all your incoming emails and creating responses that are ready to go as a draft, and all you have to do is go through those drafts and just adjust accordingly, and then you can send the email. That is a huge productivity gain. That is amazing. Okay, and those tools are available right now. Okay, and we'll look at those tools in the future. So how do you get started? Let's say you've accessed ChatGPT and you want to have a play, right? So you have a business. You might be a one-man solo entrepreneur or woman, or you might be a small business or medium business. You need to look at your processes, right? All the ones that are repetitive tasks to start off with. So invoice processing is the classic. The capture of information from people, lead generation, sales leads generation, delivering content, social media management, all of these kind of things. Look at all of these processes, and these are the ones that take time, need some consistency, and are open to automation. Okay, you need to review that process. Can you chop anything out? Whatever's left, can you automate it? And can you produce consistent, high-quality results using these AI tools and automation tools to get what you want? Okay, and hit your bottom line of your business, reduce costs, therefore improving productivity. So then you need to choose the right tool. Okay, now that might be one of these large language model tools directly, or it might be acquiring a tool from a vendor that has the AI embedded in it, but solves a specific problem you have. Okay, so for example, the tool that can read all your emails and create draft proposals, it's using AI, one of these tools like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, and it's scanning through, it's using that AI tool to check everything. All right, to analyze the structure of who you are, the tone of how you respond to emails, etc., and it will respond in kind. Okay, so we have to choose the right tool, then run a pilot project in parallel to your normal processes to test that it's working, and then deploy. Okay, that's a very simplistic model, but it works, right? We would have to dive into more detail because it's going to depend on your company systems and how you do things, etc. Okay, but you need, it's so important to do this, okay, because everybody else is doing it. So what are the challenges? Okay, so you need human oversight because these tools do hallucinate, but they're getting better all the time. There are privacy and security concerns. Okay, so when you're using these tools, be careful that the information that you're sharing, if you use the publicly available tools, if you upload documents, that information could be available to everybody. So you need to, as a business, you need to pay for the subscription model for these tools that allows security. That's going to depend on the tool and require, your research and investigation. And but if you're just looking for general information to help solve your business without uploading any trade secrets, then just take the standard tool and use it, or purchase a tool from a vendor that has a security built in. Okay, so that's an issue. Obviously, this is a big change, so you need to change management in your company. Obviously, if you're on your own, you're a solo entrepreneur, that's not such an issue. But if you've got a team of 5, 10, 20 people, you need to, manage this change quickly but effectively without disrupting what's going on. So change management is important. And you can actually ask ChatGPT how to do that. Okay. It has access to the best practices out there. So you can ask ChatGPT, okay, I want to do this, this, and this. Give me the best practices in the industry for change management to get me from this step to this step. Okay, and it will come up with some good advice. All right, but obviously it still needs human insight. Then, of course, like anything, you have to build a business case for it. What are the costs of implementing? Because almost certainly you're going to need a paid subscription for these services. Then there's the time taken to learn how to create the right prompts. You might have to buy a third-party vendor software. Okay, so you need to do, but let's say if it's invoice processing and you're processing 1,000 invoices a day and you've got a team of 10 people doing it, and you're able to, by implementing an AI solution, speed up the productivity so that you're doing the same 1,000 processes a day, but you only need 5 people, well, then you're saving the cost of 5 people. Okay, so you need to look at it. You need to build a mini business case. Obviously, if you're a solo entrepreneur, you can just go for it. You don't really need to build a business case. But if you're in a small business or medium-sized business, you have budgets, so you need to prove that can work. The future is now, right? Early adopters the early bird gets the worm, yeah? That's the expression. And you need to get familiar. If you haven't touched these tools yet, you need to get playing with it, no matter what industry you're in, right? Because everybody else will be doing it. There's a saying that's come out since these tools. Your job isn't necessarily going to be replaced, but your job or your business will be replaced by somebody or something that knows how to use these tools because it's just more efficient. Okay, so do not put your head in the sand and ignore this. Go out and play first. Get into ChatGPT, Grok, whatever. Start asking questions. Learn how to problem. We'll cover all of this in more detail in the future from a business point of view. But just go and explore and play right now. So what I want to show you now, to wrap up the presentation, is just one example, okay, of what we can do. All right. So this is a very simple example. Here we have ChatGPT in a tool, and in the tool, this is a paid subscribed version of ChatGPT that I use. Let's start with a common process. Every business, no matter if you're a solo entrepreneur or you've got 50,000 people, you always get invoicing. Accounting, the finance side, you're always going to receive invoices. Okay. Now, invoices generally in the past we used to be hand delivered or they were faxed. Now, of course, most invoices are sent by email. Okay. Or messaging apps. It could be by WhatsApp or whatever. In the past, people have had to look at that invoice, go into their accounting system, and manually add in the data from the invoice. Okay. People in the past have attempted to use what they call optical character recognition to try to read the electronic words and numbers on the thing, and extract that data and then automatically put it into into their accounting package or into an Excel spreadsheet or something. But traditionally, those OCR packages have been quite expensive. But now with these AI tools, you can do it very quickly. So let's take an example, right? So let's go and have a look at a particular sample invoice. So if I grab an invoice from here, okay, and I say, if I ask the prompt, right, extract all the information from this invoice, and I hit return. It's an image of an invoice. It's a JPEG, okay. But what it's done, it's been able to analyze all the different data, the invoice number, the date, who it's been billed to, who's it from, the itemized items from the invoice, and the total, what the payment method was. Okay. Now, if I can do that, which I clearly can, then all of this individual data could be added into a accounting package or spreadsheet. Okay, let's do another example. It doesn't matter what the format of the invoice is. I say I got some sample invoices, right? So we did this one, so let's try this one. You can see here, total $169.95. I'm uploading it again, so you can't see that window. They're not showing it. So it's a different invoice, completely different style. Extract the data from this invoice. Let's do it again. Analyzing. It could be an image, could be PDF document. It doesn't care. Invoice number, date issued, due date, amount, billed to, from, all the way down to well, it was the deposit due, $169.95, right? Deferred payment of the invoice. Because I can extract all of these individual items, I can then populate an accounts package or put that data straight into a spreadsheet. Okay. Hopefully from that you can see the power. This is a very simple example, okay, because I'm doing it manually, I'm doing it one at a time. Now, in the real world, you know, as a small entrepreneur, you could probably get away with doing it. You might have 2 invoices or 10 invoices in a month. But if you're a small, medium-sized business, you could be getting hundreds of invoices or thousands of invoices every month. So how can I take this to the next level? Well, this is what automation is about. Generally, invoices are coming in by email these days. So using an automation platform, we can ask it to point to an email address where all your invoices are coming, extract the invoice, put it into the AI engine, extract the data, and then populate a spreadsheet or into your accounting package. Most people are using accounting packages like QuickBooks, for example. QuickBooks is wildly popular, right? So there are vendors that have built automation tools that have plugins, connections with multiple different types of software packages, like accounting packages, of which QuickBooks is an example. So you can automatically populate your accounting package with that data. And this automation is running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every time somebody sends an invoice to that specific email, it could be grabbed, whether it's an image or PDF, analyzed by the AI engine, and the data can be populated and mapped into fields in your software package or Google Sheet or Excel spreadsheet, whatever that is. It's a simplistic example, but can you imagine if it didn't require human anymore to do that? And that human accountant or accounting assistant, invoice processing person, could then be doing something else. All that job is removed. Okay? How much money you're saving, the salary of that person, you're helping improve your cash flow because you're getting the invoices quicker. And of course, this is not just about incoming invoices, this is your outgoing and your accounts receivable, right? So a lot of this can be sped up, okay, using these processes. All right. So once again, this is a very simple example, but hopefully from this you can see the potential of what can be done. Okay. What we're going to be doing in the coming weeks is go through many more of these types of examples with real world solutions to show how sophisticated this can get as we're talking about AI, automation, and also consumer behavior. Okay, so that's all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, please comment and ask questions. Let me know if it's good or bad, if I've missed anything. If you're commenting on any social, wherever you find this video, please comment, give me feedback and suggestions of future videos. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. It's been a real pleasure, and I'll be publishing some more videos very soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.